Welcome to Salute and Biohacking podcast. My name is Vanessa Bertinotti and my mission is to build a tribe that shares my same passion for health optimization and biohacking by bringing to the table experts and people who inspire me. All the information contained in this podcast is purely informative and does not replace medical or therapeutic consultancy. On this episode, I'm super excited to welcome Philipp Samor von Holzendorff-Fehling. Philippe is a prominent figure in the biohacking community, known for integration quantum energy concept into health and wellness practices. He is the founder and CEO of Leela Quantum Tech and Quantum Upgrade, companies that develop products aimed at enhancing well-being through quantum energy application. Before venturing into the wellness industry, Philippe had a successful international business career, including executive role at T-Mobile International and T-Mobile US, where he served as vice president. In addition to his corporate experience, Philippe has spent over 2 decades training in shamanic and other energy healing practices, developing his skills as an energy healer. He is also a kundalini yoga teacher and a passionate biohacker and bioenergy hacker. Philippe is an active speaker at the biohacking and wellness conferences, sharing insight on how quantum energy and frequencies medicine can improve health outcome. His work continues to influence the biohacking community, particularly in exploring the intersection of quantum energy and holistic wellness. For my community, Leela Quantum Tech is offering a discount code. Just head on lilac.de and use the code Vanessa to get 10% off on all their product. You'll find the link and the coupon code in the show notes of this episode. Philippe, welcome to the show. I'm thrilled to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
So great. Can you share your personal and professional journey that led you from corporate leadership to world of biohacking and quantum energy?
Yes, I mean, I was in corporate, as you said, an executive in multiple multi-billion-dollar companies in Europe and in the US, up to the board of management at a multi-billion-dollar company here in the US until 2016. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards, I decided to do really what is in my heart and to follow my own vision. Now, in parallel to that corporate career, I got really into yoga, into meditation, into energy healing techniques, because in the early 2000s, I was at a place in my life where I felt unhappy, and I realized I need to kind of find myself again, right? That's what I did. So I went on this journey, and so I got trained in various energy healing techniques, shamanic practices. So all that in parallel to my corporate career. Then my wife at the time, she was diagnosed with chronic Lyme disease in 2010. And then she was told she can't heal it. She just has to live with it. And we didn't accept that. And that sparked in me the passion for biohacking, really, because I wanted to find the next best stuff that could help her. And so she was sort of the guinea pig of all the things that I was encountering. It's obviously a big rabbit hole, but I got really deep into that. And I found my passion through that. And she is healed, by the way. She does not have Lyme disease anymore. It's all completely healed, no symptoms anymore. And here we are. You know, at some point that culminated in me having the vision for the quantum technology and frequency medicine that we offer today. After I found a couple of companies that were kind of working with it, but they did a really poor job with it. And we decided we will launch something that is cutting edge and really helps everyone.
Wow, so exciting! So to have like a real journey of healing and then starting a new mission. So congratulations for your path. And how did you discover the concept of quantum energy, and what inspired you to dedicate yourself to this field? Actually,
Yeah, so as people can tell probably from the story I just, shared, I didn't come from the pure science perspective. Whereas,
Mhm.
nowadays there's a lot of science involved, and I'm
Mhm.
constantly involved in scientific research and all of that. But really, the understanding came from me understanding, first of all, how this reality works, and then
Mhm.
also, and I can explain that. Um, that every healer that can is truly gifted and can really move the needle works with the quantum field and with frequencies to promote more changes, whether it's a shaman that's beating the drum and it's getting you into a different frequency state, for example, or I mean there's all kinds of different ways on how you can work with energy and frequency, and it all comes down to the fact that the energy behind the matter is the quantum field, right? It's sort of the umbrella in which every frequency exists, and we can tap into that. We don't, with our consciousness, we're always connected to it. It's just that we have forgotten how to access it. We have forgotten how to strengthen our own biofield, with our consciousness. So we can do a little bit of that now when we do meditation or when we do yoga, tai chi, all of those practices. They actually are quite beneficial in strengthening the biofield.
Mhm.
But with our technology, you can now do that 24/7, um, which doesn't mean you should stop doing yoga meditation. I think it's great to still do that.
Mhm. Mhm. And you said you understood how the reality work. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so we call into our lives what we vibrate.
Mhm.
So if I vibrate in fear and anger and guilt and shame, those are very low vibrational states. That's what I call into my life. And it we have a conscious mind and then we have a subconscious mind. And even if I'm trying with my conscious mind to not be angry, not be in shame and guilt, I still may have a subconscious mind that is doing all of that because the subconscious mind is dominating our lives. Now, in this world here, we're being fed a lot of negative stuff, right? There's a lot of fear that is being promoted, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of also shame and guilt if you really pay attention. And if we don't pay attention to that, then we get sucked into those low vibrational states, and then we will have that life of a low vibrational state. If I vibrate in unconditional love and in joy, and in abundance, then that is what I call into my life, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
there's different ways on how we can change our vibrational state, right? The first step is to become aware of it, and also to understand that we don't know all of our subconscious mind, but we need to start feeding the subconscious mind better frequencies to vibrate in. And we can do that with, again, yoga, meditation, tai chi. We can walk in nature. We can work with affirmations, for example. Affirmations, by the way, only work really if you also feel
Yeah.
these affirmations. You need to basically make it your truth, not just by repeating words that are
Mhm.
meaningless, but there needs to be power behind it, energy and feeling. Then we can start changing our vibration. And with our technology and specific frequencies, you can do that too.
Mhm. Interesting. So, can you explain in simple terms what quantum technologies are and how they apply to health and wellness?
hmm Yeah, so at core, we're all energy and frequency.
Mhm.
That's the most important thing to understand for people. Tesla told us that already. Nikola
Mhm.
Tesla, he
Yes.
said, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, you need to think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And it's true. Um, so we vibrate. We have a physical body, but we are not the physical body. That's a big difference. We have learned to take care of our bodies. A lot of people still don't take care of their bodies, right? But at least the biohackers do.
Mhm.
And we exercise, we try to eat the right stuff, we supplement, we do all kinds of things, red light sauna. It's all physical and it's
Yeah.
all great. It is all great. And some of that can also actually help our energetic state as well. However, we're not really taking into account that we are a biofield, that we have a biofield. So if we can change our vibration, and we can do that with quantum technology, that basically is like a battery charger for our biofield, right? Then our own biofield gets amplified and strengthened, and suddenly other things can fall into place, because the energetic always comes before the physical. It's
Mm-hmm.
never the other way around. You literally cannot get sick if you don't have it in your field. You can't. It's impossible. That doesn't mean that you wouldn't get sick if you use our technology, right? That's also a big difference, because sometimes we need to be sick for a while because our body needs to get rid of toxins. Maybe we need to understand something. Maybe it's when kids have one of those children's diseases, for
Mm-hmm.
example,
Yeah.
it's all demonized nowadays. Everything needs to be suppressed, but maybe not, because some of that is, if you see a kid that went through a child's disease 2, 3, 4 weeks, it may be a terrible time while the kid is sick, but coming out of that, that kid will have made a quantum leap in terms of development. That is just usually what you can see. So now, coming back to the quantum technology, so we take physical supplements, we take medication, all that kind of stuff, right? That's all physical. With the quantum technology, we found a mechanism on how to provide frequencies. And by the way, we'll get into the science, right? Because this may sound like magic to some, and it actually somewhat is. But we can provide frequencies in your field, and because you are energy and frequency, you can take in these frequencies and leverage those, and then things within you change to the better, to the positive, because they come into harmony, they come into balance. I don't know, you can improve your performance, you can accelerate your recovery, you can improve your blood, you can even declot stage 1 and stage 2 of blood clotting within 10 minutes, right? All of those things are happening because our biofield gets sort of a booster,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can suddenly promote these changes, and it's our bodies that do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
very important to understand. The body is designed to heal itself,
Yeah.
and we're constantly out of balance, and now the body has a hard time dealing with all the toxins in our world, right? We live in an EMF soup, electrosmog,
Yeah.
4G, 5G, Wi-Fi. It's everywhere, and it's getting worse. Look at what Elon Musk is building. Everywhere, it's a complete EMF grid. That alone changes your brain completely. It changes your blood
Mm-hmm.
completely. Everyone that says that it doesn't is false. And, in any court, you can prove this, unless the
Mm-hmm.
court is bought and they wouldn't allow the evidence. But you can show the evidence already within 5 minutes. You can see
Mm-hmm.
those changes. And then that's short term, right? And then we go into midterm results, into long-term results. That's just the EMFs. Now look at all the toxins that we're exposed to nowadays. Through the air, we breathe in toxins. Through water and food, we eat toxins, and we don't really have the nutritional value anymore that we take in through the food. If you eat a carrot today compared to carrot from 20, 30 years ago, or a tomato, it has maybe 10% of the nutritional value that it had at the time. So yeah, we're getting depleted, and we're also getting depleted of quantum energy. The good news is we can turn all that around, right? With some amazing biohacking tools for our body. We should include, though, our biofield, because that's sort of the missing piece. That's the missing link. And it should be actually the first thing we need to take care of.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. And how do Leela Quantum Tech products work, and how they protect DNA and boost cellular energy, actually? Can you get into this topic as well?
Yeah, so let me bring some science here
Mm-hmm.
for a second, just so that people don't hear me just talk. by the way, there have been by now over 60 different research studies that have been done across the world in multiple different institutes. Over 48 of those placebo controlled. We're talking about randomized and double blind and single blinded studies. And give you some examples because you mentioned cells, right? Mitochondrial function. So there were 3 studies done by Dr. Robert Schief. He's a professor at the University of Tulsa. So at his lab at the university, they ran 3 randomized double-blind studies with actual human cells to measure the ATP output. That's the ATP production. That's the energy production of the human cells. It's nothing woo-woo. It's actually something physical. You can literally physically measure it, right? It's like the temperature. You can measure it. Like, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but you can do it. And he didn't believe, by the way, that this technology would work. He ran this study, and that's actually, for us, we've encountered that multiple times, because for people, they can't understand with the brain how energy can change something, because we're so stuck in this belief that we need to have something physical. But hey, have you forgotten that electromagnetic fields also impact you, and that you can even use your phone with it? If it wasn't there, you couldn't use it, right? It's as simple as that. And the same thing is true for quantum energy. Now, it was shown a 20 to 29% increase in ATP production in human cells, in the cells that were treated with our technology, which is massive. That's absolutely massive. And don't forget, it's simple to use. Every 5-year-old can use our technology. You don't have to be an expert or trained in it, and it's simple to use, and it's non-invasive. Right? There's no side effects. There's nothing you need to ingest. You don't need to take a shot, but you can increase your ATP production. Now, if anyone says something, oh yeah, okay, well, that sounds amazing, but what about the so-called cell danger response? So if you were to increase ATP way too much, but you don't improve the other parts of the mitochondrial function, then it wouldn't be as great. Now, a study done by MeScreen, that's worldwide the most respected company in this space of measuring mitochondrial function, and they have the largest database on Earth in regards to that. And they just proved, they also didn't think our technology would work. And they also then proved that all the different markers that they measured improved, right, in regards to mitochondrial function, which is phenomenal. But we took it a step further. After that, we asked this university professor, hey, could you also measure wound healing rates of human cells? So basically cell recovery, right? He said, yeah, we can do that. So the way you do it is you scratch the cells with a laser, or you can do it also mechanically. They did it both ways, actually. And same thing, randomized and double blind, very important. And it was shown in 5 studies. Each of them was already statistically significant, that the cell recovery / wound healing accelerated by 46 to 100%. Each time. The minimum, the lowest was 46% acceleration in wound healing, and the highest measured was 100%. So it was always in between that range, which is phenomenal, right? It basically proves the point of the mitochondrial function. So if you want to have some healing and recovery from a sports injury, from from a wound you have on your skin, from a broken bone, from anything, basically, if you can accelerate it, you can do all those great things you're already doing. Our technology adds a new layer to it. That's important to understand. It doesn't, so you don't have to exclude other methods that you're already working on. It's just you can amplify what you're already doing with it. So yeah, those are just a couple examples in regards to cell function.
And what about EMF radiation? Why does EMF radiation deplete quantum energy, and how do your product counteract to this?
Hmm. That's a good question. I don't really know why it depletes it. We just know the significant effects of EMF on the blood, on the brain, on the autonomic nervous system. I can share some insights in regards to the brain. It's actually terrifying if
Mhm.
you really think about it. Um, and we found that the more EMFs are increased, the faster and more rapid it sucks out quantum energy out of objects and also out of physiological organisms. Why it does that really is not 100% clear, but we found that it does that. And so I don't know how many studies were done in regards to electromagnetic fields in our technology, but it must be over 30 studies by now with
Mhm.
all kinds of different testing methods. And what's been shown each time is that even in an electric car, and certainly in
Mhm.
normal test circumstances, our technology is able to neutralize all of the negative effects of electromagnetic fields that are visible, whether you do blood testing, with live blood analysis, whether you look at your autonomic nervous system through the heart rate variability, as an example, whether you use cellular voltage testing of all of your organs, where you can literally see once you sit in an electric car that all of your organs deregulate within just a couple of minutes. it's
Mhm.
it's crazy actually. And then as soon as you introduce the technology, suddenly all the organs regulate again. So the same is true with the brain waves, by the way. So someone that's really one of the probably most respected researchers in this field in Europe, and she operates the most advanced EEG device on the market in Europe. It's a 256 channel EEG. They
Mhm.
operate out of Switzerland and Germany, and they can literally tell you that your brain waves, if you're in a completely Wi-Fi free room or EMF free room, I should say, your brain waves they flow normal, natural.
Mhm.
There's just a normal, natural flow of the brain waves. And as soon as then you get out of that environment into the regular environment where there is electromagnetic fields, it tends to put our brain waves into an artificial box. Within that box, the brain waves act, but they can't act freely anymore and naturally. Now, if you then take a 5G phone, and that was the latest study. It's not yet published, but probably in the next 2 3 weeks it will. Um, they they put an iPhone 15 about 1 centimeter or 2 centimeters away from your ear, and they simulate a 5G call for 30 minutes. What you see there is it's terrifying. It literally is terrifying. If people knew that, if people would experience it, they would have a completely different view on all these things.
Mhm.
And you said that I come out of the telco industry, right? I mean, I know what I'm talking about, but that was even eye opening for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen things before, but with the brain waves, I didn't know it was that bad in regards to the brain. Now, once you then introduce our technology, and then you run the same 30-minute test, right?
Mhm.
Suddenly it changes because your brain is activated in a way that it can neutralize these negative effects.
Wow.
And even beyond that, there was in this study, it was the same, by the way, with all the 12 test persons. There was one older person who had a brain stroke 10 years ago. And in between, he had regularly gone to this lady to get his EEG done. And he always, since that brain stroke, had a disturbance frequency in his brain that
Mhm.
always showed up. And he went to a lot of different experts to try to figure out how to get rid of that.
Mhm.
And nothing would ever work. Now, our technology was able to completely take that out within minutes, even though he had an iPhone 15 on his ear running on 5G, right? So it's quite impressive what's possible. And for people to understand how that works, is, you have these electromagnetic fields, and
Mhm.
think of them as frequencies that bother your system, right? They come and they hit you. You don't feel it necessarily if you don't pay attention, unless you're a super EMF sensitive person, right? They feel it like that. Most people don't, if they don't really pay attention. It still impacts them negatively.
Mhm.
Now, these frequencies come in like that and they disturb our field. Because our technology works on the below subatomic level and harmonizes everything that is destructive to life and to consciousness, it basically harmonizes these frequencies that may come in like this and they disturb us, so that they come in just in a way where it's beneficial. There's no negative effect anymore. The
Mhm.
analogy is, if you hit me in the face, it hurts. If you give me an acupressure on the neck, it's beneficial, right?
Yeah.
It's just two different ways on how to apply, touch.
Very interesting. And what are the key differences between Leela Quantum Tech product and those offered by Quantum Upgrade, actually?
Yeah, it's a good question. So Leela Quantum Tech has all the physical products. So we developed these so-called blocks,
Hmm.
from the small travel block to the big super block and some in between. Those are quantum energy generators. It's sort of the extension of our technology,
Hmm.
where you can do so many amazing things with. We can get into that, and then we develop specific products that also carry frequencies, like these little capsules, the Heal
Hmm.
360 capsule, which is probably the best entry product. We have developed water bottles that can structure water and infuse the water with specific frequencies. We have EMF protective clothing that we developed, and several other products. That's all physical products.
Hmm.
Now, Quantum Upgrade takes it a step further. We developed it over several years and launched it 2.5 years ago. It's an advanced system that can basically provide you over distance, via quantum entanglement, your customized quantum field. So now that probably sounds, wow, I mean, how is that supposed to work? The studies that I referenced, I was careful of referencing studies that were already done with the quantum upgrade, the
Hmm.
brainwave study, the university studies in regards to wound healing, in regards to ATP production, all proven with the quantum upgrade. It works in 100% of the cases. It's not random. It's not based on if you believe in it or not. It just works. And the it's over distance, but you have 100% control over it. So if you sign up, for example, and by the way, you can have a free trial. We should also provide a free trial for your listeners. Let's
Hmm.
do code Vanessa.
Hmm.
Also for quantum upgrades, it's on quantumupgrade.io, important quantumupgrade.io, and put in code Vanessa and you'll get a 15-day free trial.
Hmm.
And you can test for yourself. And you are 100% in control, meaning that you can turn it off at any time if you want to. You can increase the energy levels, you can decrease the energy level to an extent in the beginning. Over time, the longer you are, with the quantum upgrade, the higher levels get unlocked for you, because some of the levels are really high, and while it's subtle energy, it's very powerful. So we don't want people to overdo it. People have the tendency to always just try
Hmm.
out the strongest, but in this case, it would not be a good idea. So it unlocks over time. And people
And
can.
you can wear it like
No,
uh,
you don't wear anything.
you don't wear it, so.
No, no. You, with the quantum upgrade, you don't wear anything. You don't have to wear anything. You set it up through your laptop or your
Okay.
phone, but you don't need to be with your phone or your laptop. It doesn't matter. You can set it literally up for you, and then no matter where you go, you can travel to Australia and back. You will be in the field at all times.
Oh.
But again, you can then you can increase the levels for yourself. You can pause it at any time. You can even book in specific frequencies. Let's say you run a marathon, then you can book in the Olympic performance frequency that we've developed
Okay.
specifically for athletes. If you want to recover or you feel sick or something like that, you can leverage the Heal 360 frequency. If I don't have good sleep, we have something for sleep. We have something for weight management. There's a lot of different frequencies that you can press, and then within 5 minutes the system makes the change.
Wow.
It's very powerful. I tell you, it's the most powerful thing we've ever developed. I
Hmm.
use it all the time.
Amazing. And the capsule to wear that you were
Yep.
saying, because I received it actually in Amsterdam last year, no, 2 years ago.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it was, I mean, I didn't really like understand, like there are like little balls inside, and they're already like charged, right? And you don't have to charge it anymore. So how does capsule works? Can you just?
Yep. Yeah. So that's a very nice piece, and a lot of biohackers use it. So if in the US, I don't know, in Europe there are already also quite a few, but definitely in the US, if you go to some biohacking conference,
Yeah.
you see hundreds of people running around with the capsules,
Mhm.
and so the capsule itself is charged with frequencies that promote and support self-healing powers. So it's sort of
Mhm.
that they activate your self-healing powers. And then there are beads inside the capsule. They're charged with just pure quantum energy. They act like a booster so that those frequencies vibrate in a field that's maybe 2-3 meters wide. So it covers your whole biofield, and it can harmonize the electromagnetic fields for the wearer. It's not for, it wouldn't be enough to also cover
Mhm.
your partner, for example, or your kids. They would all have to have their own. So you can leverage the frequencies at all times, and it helps you with EMF. It also has been shown to improve your heart rate variability. So this is a really good entry level product. We call it the all rounder. Also, that's
Mhm.
what most people get at first to see. What does it do for me? Some people know already intuitively. I got to have a block. I mean, I just feel it. But
Okay.
people that are more brain oriented and are a little bit skeptical, maybe they
Mhm.
usually start with the heal capsule.
And if you wear it like all day or during the night, you take it away. Does it doesn't really? Hmm?
I mean, so we always recommend to wear it during the day and then put it away during the night. But if you're a deep sleeper, you can also use it at night. Some people that are not good sleepers, they can use it at night, but they take the beats out so that it's not so powerful, because it does give you more energy.
More
It
energy.
is it provides you with more energy in a very natural way. It's not
Mhm.
like a coffee rush at all. It's
Mhm.
because in the end it comes from within,
Yeah.
even though that doesn't make sense when I say that, because you're wearing a capsule, but the capsule triggers and stimulates your energy within, and then from within you're just having more energy, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
That's the
Yeah.
mechanism of how it works.
Mhm. Mhm. And what is the biggest challenge in helping the public understand the concept of quantum energy and frequencies?
Yeah, so I mean, we don't see it as a problem or issue at all, because people are ready when they're ready.
Mhm.
We don't need to convince anyone. Frankly, I've given up on that. So if people are interested and curious, of course I take the time to walk them through the science, or
Mhm.
give them the chance to experiment it for themselves. But if they're not, I don't waste a second on it. They don't have to use it. That's really it. But still, I want to answer the question, because in a way, we don't really see it as a challenge, but as an opportunity, right, for the people, because the
Mhm.
more people understand that we're energy and frequency, and by tapping into our own inner power and energy fields, we can literally change our reality and we can improve our lives. That's a great thing if people do that, right? And we know that our products help with that, right? And
Mhm.
in that case, we're interested certainly in also getting the message across. And I think it has happened in three folds. One is that because the products work, there's thousands and thousands of people in the world that talk about it and that tell others about it. Then there's podcasters that, like you, that invite me on, that have heard about it or tried it for themselves, and they're like, wow, we need to share this message. So we do that. And then the third thing is to the science, right? Because we don't just say it works and does all of this. Like, that's what most companies do that have something that's not as tangible as I don't know, like a phone that you can hold in your hand, right? We provide the science. We have from day one, even before day one, we invested in getting our products tested. We spend a lot of time, giving our products away to doctors and institutes to do their research, right? It's never our research. We do our research, but of course, what we research, we don't publish anything. That's always a precursor.
Mhm.
And we also don't have a multi-billion-dollar budget, so to do that. So that's why it so happened that there's so many different institutes and doctors' offices across the world that have tested these products, and they attest that they work in independent studies, and they write those reports, university studies. I think there's so much out there. I don't know of any biohacking company in the world that has as much research as we do. I mean, they may have, I don't know, thousands of papers on turmeric if they use a turmeric supplement, right? But it's not the research that was done or facilitated by them. It's just something that has happened over time that people research turmeric, right? So with
Mhm.
quantum technology, it's sort of a new field. It's ancient in a way because that energy has always been there. Just the knowledge on how to access the field was a little bit forgotten. I mean, people like Nikola Tesla knew very well on how to do this, even though his main focus was electricity. We
Mhm.
don't at all work
Mhm.
with or on electricity.
Mhm. And you talk about those boxes. Can you tell us the differences between the big boxes and the small ones? And yeah, what the size makes the difference, right?
Well, it makes some difference. So the main difference actually is, so when you have the small travel block, it
Mhm.
has the advantage that you can take it easily everywhere. People
Okay.
take it into restaurants, they put it on the table, they charge their bread in there, for example. They take it in the plane, they take it in their car, they take it, in the morning to their office and put it on their desk and take it home with them. That's how they use the travel block. Now, if you have the infinity block that has 3 plates on the top, 3 on the bottom, or the big super block, for example, then that gets a little bit inconvenient to take it into your car and to the restaurant because they're bigger pieces. And so people use those at home and they have a larger and stronger field, and you can put bigger objects in them. So the
Mhm.
super block, for example, we just launched it in the beginning of this year. You can put plates in there to charge all of your plates, because I want to say this yet and now because I haven't yet. So the Emoto Institute out of Japan, right? It's Masaru Emoto was the famous pioneer in regards to figuring out how you can change the energy of water and how you can visualize that. They tested our technology about 2.5 years ago or 3 years ago, and they found that our technology was able to improve water faster and better than any other method they'd ever tested before. And that was even done with our weakest device, the quantum block. Can you imagine the super block now, which literally structures water, right? In no time. It's incredible how fast it works, and then you can even infuse frequencies with it. So the Emoto Institute ran that analysis, and then since that day, they asked us if they could resell our products in Japan exclusively, and so they've been reselling our products in Japan since 2.5 or 3 years now, which is quite impressive because they don't do that usually because they're a research institute.
Mhm.
So since you can do that with water, now think about it. It also makes sense why it helps to improve the blood, which has been shown in multiple randomized, blinded, and double blinded studies in regards to live blood analysis, not just some simple before and after testing that you find with some grounding mat that you encounter somewhere. No, real gold standard studies were done, sham controlled. So it proves it's placebo controlled. So the body is over 99% water on a molecular weight
Yeah.
level. So when we're water and you can improve water, it all makes sense, right? And then if you
Mhm.
think about it, your foods, they contain water too. Vegetables, fruits, I mean, all kinds of foods. And then, there was a study done, two studies actually in Germany that showed if you charge bread with gluten, for example, or substances with lactose in the block, it has a 55 to 85% reduction in allergy response, and
Mm.
it is basically it proves the point that so many people make in our Telegram communities. We have private Telegram communities where our community can share and learn,
Mhm.
and a lot of them have reported that if they charge substances that they've been sensitive to or allergic to, that then they're not allergic to it anymore. And don't do this at home, though, please, because this is the only area where we don't make a claim yet, because and we need to be very careful with that also, because there's too many different substances out there and too many different allergies and
Mhm.
varieties of food sensitivities. So you need to be really careful with this, obviously. But on the other hand, there's tons of people out there that just try this type of stuff, right? And
Mhm.
and we demonstrated live on stage at the big biohacking conference, Dave Asprey's biohacking conference in Orlando about 3.5 years ago. We were live on stage. There was someone that had a crab allergy, crab meat
Mhm.
allergy, and they put crab meat in his left arm with a derma roller, and suddenly he got all red, and there were blisters, and it started to itch. The same crab meat they put live on stage into our infinity block for about 5 minutes. Then they took it out, put it in his other arm, no allergic reaction. And there
Mhm.
were over 100 people in the room. Not only that, that was filmed by
Mhm.
the biohacking conference, and that video is still on our YouTube channel, the Quantum Power channel. So you can find it there and look for yourself. But
Wow.
again, don't try this at home, right? It's at your
Mhm.
own risk.
So you talk about the structuring water, so that makes sense. But what about like filtering water? It's still necessary to filter water because it doesn't really.
Yes, absolutely. I would not go to the Mississippi River and then take your water and put it in the block and drink it. It will be better than
Yeah.
straight out of the river, but it doesn't filter out any dirt, any bacteria,
Okay.
and things like that. So you definitely want to use some good filtered water still.
Perfect.
But so, for example, what's a really good mechanism is if you use reverse osmosis, for
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
it filters out all the crap basically, which is great. But at the same time, the water is not alive anymore. It's
Yeah.
basically sort of like
Right.
dead water.
Yeah.
And so then with our technology, you can add that back.
Yeah.
You literally energize the water then. And if you wanted to, you could even use our biobase frequency. We have a biobase frequency as a card, for example, or it was also as part of the heal. It's part of the heal frequency as well, not the heal 360, but the heal. And you can then infuse these vitamins and minerals into that water.
Okay.
So can you imagine? That's just, you have clean water that's dead, but it's at least clean.
Yeah.
Now you suddenly have it alive again and infused with the most important nutrients for the human body. You know, can it get any better?
Excellent.
That's what
Yeah.
I do.
And do you use also like sacred geometry? You know, those this geometry that also change frequencies or not on your product?
It's
Because you
not.
have a nice logo that also reminds of these geometries, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, so it's for with our technology, it's not necessary because our technology truly works on a quantum level. So we
Okay.
wouldn't need any sacred geometry.
Mhm.
However, we're still using it sort of for fun a little bit
Okay.
because it just looks beautiful and it has a nice vibration. So the mandala that you see also embedded in our logo, it stands
Mhm.
for peace, love, and unity.
Mhm.
And that's basically what it radiates if you see it. So it's nice. It's something that we want to put out into the world. And then for every frequency card, if you get a frequency card that carries a specific frequency, on one side it says what it is, maybe gratitude, right? And it says
Mhm.
gratitude. And on the other side, it has a specifically designed mandala. We have a clairvoyant artist that we work with, that we say, if we develop a new frequency, now we have the frequency that we ask her, okay, now we have a new gratitude frequency. Can you please, download, from the ether, basically that mandala and design it, right? And then she designs a mandala that perfectly matches the frequency. So if you look at it, it not only looks beautiful, but also you feel the vibration. So that's how we use it. It's
Mhm.
just in a different way.
Mhm. And the material you use for your blocks, because they looks like gold. Is there behind some research about the material? Can you maybe tell a bit more?
Yeah, so gold would probably be the best material to use, but the problem with gold is obviously that it's
The
not
price.
affordable, right?
Yeah.
Not for us and not for anyone really, for most people to buy. If someone is out there that is a billionaire and wants a block out of gold, an infinity block out of gold, we're happy to build it if it's prepaid. But other than that,
Mhm.
that wouldn't be possible. So we tested all kinds of different metals, and what we found is that golden anodized aluminum covers all the different aspects that are needed for holding the energy really well and transmitting it really well, for also not being too heavy to ship, also being quite affordable and looking beautiful as well. So
Mhm.
there's all these different qualities. We tested titanium, we tested brass, we tested all kinds of stuff, stainless steel. Those are all for a block, not the right ones, even though the capsules, they're all made out of brass. And then the little beads inside are out of medical grade titanium for different reason though. And first of all, it is a great metal still, but also the little titanium balls hold a lot of quantum energy. So they're quite powerful even in their small size. So that's how we use different metals in different ways.
Mhm. And are your technologies adaptable for specific needs, such as stress relief or athletic performance or sleep improvement? You talk about different kind of script. I don't know if it's the right word to use. If you like script a code for a specific need.
Yeah, so I mean, in general, without using any specific frequency and just using the blocks, which has basically neutral quantum energy, it already helps with all of these different aspects, right?
Okay.
So, because it takes care of the EMFs in your home, it already promotes a better mitochondrial function. You can eat and drink cleaner with it. As an example, also your nervous system gets rebalanced, things like that. So it does have a positive effect already, just like that. Then you could use additional frequencies that we create to further improve in specific areas. So
Okay.
let's say, I'm currently number one in tennis in the U.S. in the 50s and
Mhm.
above. And if I play a match in a tournament, I always play with the so-called Olympic performance frequency,
Mhm.
because that helps even more to get my mitochondria to work well and to be in full action mode cell wise. Then for recovery, I use the Heal 360 frequency. I also, in training, often I use the brain support frequency, because
Mhm.
it optimizes my ability to learn quickly and to remember and to, you know, um, understand the nuances of changes that I need to apply, right? So there's different ways on how to leverage those frequencies.
So you have a menu of frequencies where one can pick up the frequency he wants.
Correct. So in the quantum upgrade, you will have the ability. So if you have a free trial, by the way, you get this all-in-one frequency bundle included in those 2 weeks with code Vanessa on
Mhm.
quantumupgrade.io. Um, and then you can see all the different frequencies that you can test. And
Mhm.
then if you want to try a physical frequency card, you just go to leelaq.com or .de actually for Europe, sorry, leelaq.de. And you can go to frequency cards, and also there's a drop down menu, and then you can see, okay, oh, these are the different frequencies they have, and maybe there's one that resonates with you, or there's maybe one for your kid or something like that. So
Perfect. And what are your long-term goals for Leela Quantum Tech and Quantum Upgrade? What impact do you hope to have on society?
we hope to have a very positive impact on the consciousness level in general, among humans, we can say,
Mhm.
and then also help humans, animals, and plants all alike, because they're all physiological organisms. Help them improve,
Mhm.
and especially of course for pets and for humans, there's a big effort that can help a lot more people. I mean, we know that from all the research that it's a missing link in most people's lives. And yeah, if people look back to before having used our technology, and then after they've used it now for a while, they see some significant improvements, which is just amazing, and we certainly want to continue that.
Mhm. And what is your opinion on the lack of specific regulation in biohacking and quantum therapy industry? Do you think we need more regulation, or you think it's okay like this?
I mean, from my perspective, we need just less regulation. I mean,
Mhm.
it's the whole world is over-regulated, right? And if it was regulated in a very balanced and positive and human supportive way, we could talk, right? But
Mhm.
the way it's all regulated, whether you look into the financial industry or the health industry, it favors the few that actually are the bad actors.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, that's not something we need more regulation for.
Mhm. Well,
And we can rip it apart, maybe.
and you describe yourself as a bio and bioenergy hacker. What are the three most essential tools or practices for daily well-being?
Of course, our own technology.
Uh-huh.
Definitely wouldn't miss it. Then for me personally, it's my red light sauna. I don't say
Mhm.
the brand here now because there's probably many good ones out there. I have a full spectrum red light and sauna that I use regularly.
So, how many times a week? Or
When I'm at home in Florida, I use it at least 5 days a week.
Mhm.
Um, Sometimes 7 days a week, frankly. I have a home in Costa Rica too. When I'm there, I don't use it because I don't have one there.
Okay.
Um, and I use vibration plates.
Mhm.
That's something I use, 3 to 5 days a week, and yeah, that's and then some really good supplements as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
And
walking my dog for
what
me is also part of taking care of my health. So
what kind of dog do you have?
I have a little Havanese.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, and
And
walking in nature is
yeah,
great for us. It's I play tennis, of course. I do yoga. All of those things are great, but just walking a little bit in nature is a nice thing.
yeah, I love that. I've took a house just in front of a wood actually, because for me, like walking in the woods are my best favorite tool. So also with the dog.
Nice.
And do you have a specific morning routine?
I change it up
Mhm.
when I'm in Florida. I try to get up, get on my vibration plates for
Mhm.
maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Then I do a short yoga set. I do kundalini yoga. I'm a kundalini yoga teacher, but I usually just do like a 20-minute set, super short, but I want to do it. That's important. And then after that, I go into the red light sauna, and then I take a shower and I'm ready to go.
Great. And what book, movie, or experience has had the most profound impact on you in recent years? Do you have something that pops up?
I think what I can recommend to people are two books, both written by Dr. David Hawkins.
Mm-hmm.
You can get them as audiobooks too. One is Power versus Force, where
Mm-hmm.
he describes also the so-called Hawkins scale that we use as a reference actually for showing where does our technology calibrate or on quantum upgrade, the different energy levels that you can set.
Mm-hmm.
They're based on the Hawkins scale, even though the Hawkins scale doesn't have a limit over 1,000 anymore. That's old, but
Mm-hmm.
Dr. David Hawkins died already, and he wrote the book about 20 years ago. So things have changed, but still, it's a great book to understand how reality works and how our own vibration can literally shift our lives and how we become attractor fields for what we vibrate, and that we call it into our lives. And then his other book was Letting Go, so that's also an amazing book. And I think, yeah, I think there's value in both of these books.
Great. So thank you, Philip, for all your insight about your technology and how you see the world. And thank you for your time. It was very interesting to listen to you and to have you on my podcast. So thank you for everything. I will leave all the references and all the also the coupon code on my show notes of this episode. And thank you very much. I hope to see you one day, maybe in one of those biohacking conference. So thanks a lot and have a good one.
You too. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you.